When you start to be more aware that you are attracting narcissists into your life, you can then start to gain the strength to be able to set boundaries. And normally, if a narcissist has been attracted to you, they will probably not like the boundary you're trying to set. So therefore, they will exit the life rather than be there, draining the energy from you and not being able to contribute anything in return. So what it is that empaths are usually in relationships with people that they're trying to get something out of in the form of validation or some type of approval for the empath to feel whole and complete or attractive in a scenario. And the narcissist will come in because they can sense that there's a weakness there. They can sense that they can walk all over this empathic person and they can get what they want in the form of validation because the empath gives it. The empath has no issue with giving validation. It's the narcissist is looking to leech onto that energy, onto people qualities, people with kindness, people who are people pleasers. And when you can be aware of that program that you are trying to please this other person and that nothing is ever going to come out of it other than you just trying and trying and chasing and chasing and chasing, ends up being an endless circle. They'll give you small moments of approving of you or making you accepted, hot, cold behavior, just to keep you around. But then when you call them out on that type of behavior that you don't like, they place the blame on you. That's your fault. Oh, I'm sorry I said anything. And the people pleaser or the weak empath goes in the corner and cowers. You know why? Because the empath is afraid to set that boundary. You don't have the strength within your own frame to just be yourself. And whether that repels this narcissist away from you, this attractive person that's probably a narcissist. Most of the people we are attracting to us in the form of narcissists are people we find physically attractive. And it's not just looks. We have relationships with people that are not based on looks as well. But coming from personal experience, I would attract women that were very self-absorbed, self-fulfilled. And they could tell that I had some type of weakness in me and probably came from my childhood. I had to do some inner child healing to discover that I had the people pleaser tendencies. I was a very empathic type person, especially in the dating game. In about between 2010 and 2016, prior to meeting my wife, there was a lot of difficult times there trying to meet women on these dating apps or just trying to approach them at the bar or, you know what I mean, making some slight eye contact with some at the gyms that I used to go to, but nothing ever came of it. I never really had the confidence back then to just be myself and, have the confidence to talk to anybody like I do now. You want to talk to anybody because you're willing to step into the uncomfortable. The same way that I make these videos every day, I'm stepping into the uncomfortable to the point where it came comfortable. So when you step into the uncomfortable in the dating game or in person with attractive people and you're willing to talk to anyone, you get good at it eventually. So that's how you step out of your uncomfortable zone and you step into a comfort zone and out of your shell and you become a stronger individual. Also, An empath is usually not strong within their own frame. Their energies are usually dependent on the outside. And when things don't feel right on the outside, what empaths would do, what I say we because I used to be like you, would try to fix everything on the outside for us to feel safe. And when these narcissistic women would come to us because of the energy we were embodying, it was not a forceful, a strong, confident energy that is very neutral. And if these people want to be a certain way, that's fine. And if they want to be another way, well, that's great. Well, we'll engage with you. But if you're going to act in ways that are deal breakers, beyond the type of boundaries you're able to set as the strong version of yourself, as the observer of the empathic qualities that is no longer an empath, that is how you start to live in a state of consciousness. Because if you're living as an empath that is keeping on living through that program, you are living in unconscious ways where the mind is controlling the body. But when you become the observer of that program, you could then identify with it that I am not that weak. I am not that afraid. I am not in need of these people. I am not in need to fix how that person feels about me. You become the strongest version of you because you are good enough for being you. And whatever boundaries are broke by other people, those are deal breakers. You speak up. You speak up and you tell them the truth. And if they're not willing to stick around after you've set the boundary, well, those people were not meant in your life anyway. And if you kept them around, you'd live a life filled with suffering. So that is how we are able to figure out why we keep attracting narcissists to us. And that's the empath and narcissist relationship. So narcissists don't usually want to be in relationship with other narcissists because they're all self-centered. So a self-centered person and another self-centered person are not going to want to be in relationship with one another. Usually they want someone who's going to cling, someone who's very needy, and then they can play games with. And normally the narcissists are not people to be in full-time relationships with either. They're usually the sleep around type of person. They usually just play games. They'll sleep with whoever's available and tell you what you want to hear. And then they're whispering in some other man's ear the same BS that they were telling you, probably more or less. But when you become the person that is not going to take that type of behavior anymore, you take the power back and you know that you are a strong individual. You are a conscious being. You're expanding your consciousness through the material on the channel here. I thank you for being here. And you're watching some of my videos. You're meditating some of this energy out of the body. You want to attract someone that's actually on your level, that would resonate with the real you. Start to embody feelings of true love throughout the body. And how you're going to get there is by practicing this meditation. I'm going to link at the end of the video. It's a meditation on practicing more self-love. And it's an affirmations meditation where you recite each sentence after I recite them to you. And after you're done, you're just going to feel in an elevated state of loving, positive energy. And you're no longer going to be projecting neediness energy of needing to fix things, of being worried about how others feel about you, worried about the judgment. You are able to get rid of all and become somebody completely different. We create the best self here on the channel. So I thank you for watching this one, and I highly recommend watching the self-love meditation. Thank you for being here.